It's Breaking News Edition. I'm Benita Levine. A helicopter incident in bad weather with Iran's president, foreign minister and other Iranian officials on board. Conflicting reports about what happened in Iran's East Azerbaijan province in recent hours. Much speculation across the Middle East. Iran's interior minister saying one of the choppers transporting President Ibrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdullahian made a rough landing, and rescue teams have been battling to get to the scene since Sunday afternoon local time, apparently because of the fog. One local news agency calling on Iranians to pray for the 63-year-old president. Now, Raisi was elected at the second attempt in 2021 and since taking office has ordered a tightening of morality laws, overseen a bloody crackdown on anti-government protests and pushed hard in nuclear talks with world powers. Here's the latest update from Iran's interior minister.
In the name of God, after the opening of the Koda Afaran Dam and the Kiz Kalasi Dam in the presence of the president. On the return journey, the president and others accompanying him were coming back in several helicopters. One of the helicopters was forced to make a rough landing due to bad weather conditions and fog in the area. Now, various rescue teams are moving into the area. But in view of the fog and the bad weather conditions, it will take time to get to the location of the helicopter. Things are under control and rescue teams are doing their work. We hope it will be done as soon as possible.
So for more, we now bring in our Middle East correspondent, Ariel Osaran. He joins us from Givatayim here in Israel. And Ariel, a developing story with major consequences for the whole region, a range of reports coming through. Talk us through what is known about this helicopter incident. What can you tell us?
Right, Benita. So we'll try and make some order in all these conflicting reports. So about 4 or 5 hours ago, initial reports of a crash of the helicopter carrying Ibrahim Raisi, the Iranian president, as well as the foreign minister. Initial reports said that they had lost contact with the helicopter and that it had made a hard landing. That has since been updated to an official crash announcement by the authorities, but dozens of rescue and search and rescue teams are on the ground right now. None have yet to reach the helicopter itself. They believe to be zeroing in on the site of the crash. The dozens of teams are based in the northwestern Iranian city of Jolfa, and from there are carrying out the operations. But given the thick fog and the heavy rain and the mud, the conditions make it impossible for the forces to reach there by air or by vehicle transport, so they have to make their way there on foot, and that is also dragging on and making the search and rescue efforts more complicated at this time.
Ben Talablu, he's a senior fellow at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. He joins us live from Washington. And Ben, what a moment. All eyes in the Middle East on this helicopter crash. President Ibrahim Raisi on board, as is the foreign minister and others. The supreme leader holding an emergency session. Your thoughts, your insights right now?
Pleasure to be with you. Yes, there's lots of breaking news and rolling coverage based on Raisi's crash-landed helicopter in Iran's East Azerbaijan province. The most important takeaway is, if indeed the president is reported or indeed confirmed dead, would be that the pool, which was already very narrow, of individuals inside the Islamic Republic to succeed Iran's current octogenarian 85-year-old president Ali Khamenei has narrowed significantly. While there is no public shortlist, many experts and analysts assess that Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, Iran's current president, Raisi, who you are covering currently, as well as a potential few other clerics, might have been in the running to replace Khamenei. So with Raisi, who has been someone that Washington has been talking about ad nauseum since his election in 2021, and if not a little bit earlier, in his position at the head of the judiciary, and even before that, as the head of a major parastatal religious organization, that pool has significantly narrowed.
And Behnam, as we are talking to you, we are hearing about a hostile aircraft, sirens sounding across the northern front here. Talk us through the implications not only for Iran itself and the Iranian people, but of course how you see this all potentially impacting the war and Iranian proxies.
Well, I can't comment about the hostile aircraft. I'd love to hear more about that, whether it's an allegation, whether it was a UAV, whether it was a manned aircraft with potentially from a foreign source. But all of this aside, unfortunately, the government of the Islamic Republic feels like it's gotten basically a free pass in the post-October 7 Middle East. It's particularly why you've seen the boom and bust cycle of violence from the government of the Islamic Republic itself.
But right now, let's take a listen to the last comments that are known from President Ibrahim Raisi. He was in Azerbaijan visiting a new dam. Let's take a listen to the last public comments he is known to have made before this crash in East Azerbaijan in Iran.
This dam can provide very safe transit for goods, for passengers and tourists. Given how seriously the work is being carried out, I think it will take less time than originally estimated, which is almost 3 years in a very long time. This will be done so that people can use it.
Again, those are the last known comments from President Ibrahim Raisi before this crash. Avi Pasner, your thoughts?
You know, I think it is interesting that he's coming from Azerbaijan, who is a country friendly to Israel. And this is a very interesting point. And you know, Benita, already the social media is full of speculation about Israel having taken part in that accident. I know, as from my knowledge, that Israel has never, ever taken out a foreign leader.
Earlier in the day, Benjamin Netanyahu meeting with the heads of northern authorities for the first time in 4 months. The last time they met in January, the Prime Minister promising a $1 billion rehabilitation plan for the north within 10 days. That hasn't happened yet. Meanwhile, Hezbollah continues to target Israeli northern border communities, in some cases destroying scores of homes. And of course, we heard about those red alerts earlier on at the time of this broadcast. Now for more, let's take a look at this report.
Israel's northern border with Lebanon as cross-border fire further escalates. Over the weekend, Hezbollah launched at least 100 rockets and drones at Israeli border communities, launches which continued throughout Sunday. There were no injuries from any of the launches.
There has been an escalation, especially through the use of drones, UAVs. Hezbollah's put new capabilities on the table. We saw in recent days that they hit a military target with a UAV that first dropped a bomb from its wing and then crashed into the target, which is a double punch. That's a new capability that Hezbollah put on the table, and they're making increasingly more effective use of their targeted UAVs.
The IDF said it continued its strikes on Hezbollah posts across southern Lebanon, including eliminating a senior Hamas-linked commander in a drone strike close to the Lebanese-Syrian border. Meanwhile, the editor of the Lebanese El Akhbar newspaper, affiliated with Hezbollah, Ibrahim El-Amin, outlined over the weekend the new strategy of the pro-Iranian axis in its campaign against Israel. The plan, a war of attrition from Gaza through Lebanon to Yemen. In his article, El-Amin writes that the goal is to get Israel to return to the negotiating table as it begs for an agreement and is willing to pay heavy prices. The way to get there is by using new drones and focusing on sensitive Israeli targets. This comes as Iran confirms holding indirect talks with American officials in Oman in an attempt to prevent the Gaza conflict from spiraling into a regional war.